Nyash of Tinubu is finally out as they try everything possible under their ability to stop this video from being released. But this video was released in the early afternoon, and come and see what is going on. This video showcased the Nyash of Tinubu and it brought a lot of disgrace to Nigeria as a whole. Look at what is happening. Even in the making of this video, Osibajo was there. He was speechless when this man narrated everything and explained everything that is happening in Nigeria presently. When it like guys to stay connected to the end of this video, the secret and the Nyash of Tinubu is finally out. That is why they do everything possible to stop this video, and they even stopped this man from making this video. But the video is finally here. Everything is well said. Come and see what is going on. Even what Betaidu did recently, the orchestrator of everything, how everything happened, is embedded here. The secret is out. It's not a Nigerian video. This is not a video that someone made in Nigeria. Even though they would have go for the posse or take the posse down, all of that. But this man is not in Nigeria. That is why he can make this video successfully. Come and see what is going on. When I like guys to stay connected to the end of this video, if you can share this video, ensure you share it. Share it to different social media platforms. Let it go viral. And if you can share it, just like it. Like it. Give it a thumb up so that it will be recommended for us. This video is a video that you should never miss. Come and see what this man said it all in this video. Stay connected, Obedient. I'm coming back again.
Welcome you back to LAJUPOG WATCH TV.
I don't have bad news for you today.
The home of religious gossip.
But you should leave the fight for Mohammed.
What is happening in the Christendom? Join now to make sense with LAJUPOG.
Hello my great and wonderful viewers, welcome me back to LAJUPOG WATCH TV. For those of you coming across the channel for the very first time, ensure you click the red subscription button appearing in your video screen, and do well to click the notification bell icon so that whenever we drop a new video in few hours time, YouTube will easily let you to know. Another video I finally showcased on media in the early afternoon, and this video actually sparked up a lot of reactions in different social media platforms. This video is regarding what is happening in the regime of Bola Ahmed Tinubu right now, because they never want this video to come to the limelight, but this video I finally showcased because they did everything possible to stop this video, because this video actually exposed a lot of secrets regarding these people in the Aso Rock chamber. Tinubu and his people and his cabals in the Aso Rock chamber, they did everything just to ensure they stopped the existence of this video. Now looking at what is happening in this video now, Osibajo was present there when the making of this video was going on. Even Osibajo couldn't stop the coming of this video. Now there is what is going on. I didn't mean that it is Nigeria this man is. They would have come for this man or trying to intimidate him and bully him and all of that, because Nigerian politicians are fond of bullying people, intimidating people with the Nigerian police force and all of that. But this man is an African man, popularly known as LUMUMBA. This man said it all. There's nothing they can do about this man. This man has been on Nigeria for some time now. This man always release videos regarding what is happening in Nigeria and in Africa as a whole, because Africa is a continent that is fond of corruption and all of that. And according to the video of this man made it known to the general public that Nigeria is playing the forefront. Nigeria is the #1 corrupt country in Africa. This is a big blow to Nigeria and a disgrace to Nigeria. Someone that is not in Nigeria know about all the atrocities that they are committing in the Aso Rock chamber and all of that. And if we should come out as Nigeria and talk about all these things that they actually do in the Aso Rock chamber, how they are borrowing money on Nigerian head and how they are mafiaing the money among themselves, they will come for the person and begin to intimidate the person. But this man made it now. There's nothing they can actually do. I'd like guys to stay connected to the end of this video just for you to hear everything this man said. This is not what any Nigerian should miss. This man exposed everything. Osibajo couldn't do anything. He just put his hand on his cheek and began to watch the shit of Nigeria. He began to watch the things that was said about Nigeria. Nigeria is being disgraced. Bola Ahmed Tinubu is being exposed. If you can share this video, ensure you share it. Share it to different social media platforms. Let it go viral. And if you can't share it, you can swear click the like button. Like it. Give it a thumb up so that YouTube will be recommended for us until it gets to the last person and get to every Nigerian. Let them see this video. This video exposed everything. It was few days ago that Betaidu was disgraced out of Aso Rock. You know, I remember that issue did not escalate. They would have died it down and all of that. It was some time during the regime of Buhari that NCDC president NCDC chairman and all of that. And they probe him that he embezzled some money and all of that one when they were interviewing him and all of that. He fainted. And after he fainted, nobody knows about how the money go again. They did not interrogate him. They did not question him based on the money again. As he fainted, the money is gone. That was what is happening in Nigeria. Come and see the games that these people have been playing right from time. You will notice that everything is going worse in Nigeria every day and every day. And if people should actually come out and express their opinion regarding what is happening, Nigerian police will be used to intimidate Nigerians, more especially the youth. It was few days ago. You can see what I'm saying. I released a video here yesterday and you can see what actually played out about no grief for anybody. The slogan that I've been moving in different social media platforms that Nigerian youth are actually using to be catching crews and all of that, Nigerian police came for it. They said no grief for anybody is now an offense under the law. But they couldn't quote to Nigerians where it is in the constitution and the rule of law that actually back it up. They couldn't prove it out, but they just come up and say no grief for anybody is a sin under the law, that if you should say it, you'll be arrested and all of that. These people are scared of evolution. They are scared of evolution. That is why they're doing everything possible, because they believe that they are not great for anybody. Nigerians can actually use it if care is not taken, and it will cause revolution in Nigeria. That's what they're trying to avoid. But see what is happening now. They can intimidate Nigerians, but they can't intimidate outsiders. Now, outsiders are the one bringing in what is even happening in Nigeria right now. It is a big disgrace to Nigeria and a big shame to Nigeria and Nigerian politicians that outsiders are now bringing out their buttocks. What outsiders is not supposed to know about what is happening in Nigeria and they are sort of okay, but they are not knowing it. They are even more current than normal Nigerians now, because normal Nigerians are fed up of everything. The politicians do everything possible so that Nigerians will be frustrated and they won't focus their attention on them again. That is what is actually playing out. But outsiders are now releasing articles, documentaries, videos regarding what is happening. And you can see the one they released about Synagogue Church a few days ago. It was outsiders that came out through BBC to release documentary on TV Joshua. Nigerians, if you should talk as a Nigerian, nobody will listen to you. And even if you should talk, they will come and intimidate you. They will make sure they silence you. That's what is playing out in Nigeria. But it is until outsiders come and lick their buttocks out, that is when their head will actually come to correction. So that is what is playing out. Now, LUMUMBA have finally come out. He have said a lot of things about Nigeria. This man is an African man. He is a lawyer, but this man exposed everything that you need to know. So I would like us to stay connected to the end of this video to hear everything yourself. You won't hear it from my mouth. You will hear him saying everything. This is a disgrace to Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Nigeria. Stay connected, Obedient. I'm coming back again. Ensure you share the video.
That speak against corruption. If you look at the countries which were the first to ratify the UN Convention against Corruption, African countries were in the forefront. If you look at the countries which were quick to adopt protocols that speak against corruption, African countries were in the forefront, and Nigeria was never far behind. If you look at the countries which adopted legislation against corruption, it is African countries. In other words, African countries have the inclination to sign anything on sight without doing what those things require and demand of them. So, it is not legislation in and of themselves. It is something else. It is the culture that we have evolved over the years in Africa of celebrating ill-gotten wealth. It is not the shortage of political pronouncements in many African countries. Those who occupy political leadership, when they seek political office, will invariably say that we are going to fight against corruption. But many times, in the fight against corruption, their understanding of it is that they should appear to be fighting corruption without actually fighting corruption. So the question that we must ask ourselves, what must we do, we who have the privilege and honor of serving our countries in the positions to which we have been elected, in order to salvage our countries from the chains of graft? There are those Afro-pessimists who hold the view that Africa will perpetually and eternally be mired in the muck and mire of corruption. But the truth is that African countries have demonstrated that it can be done. Countries such as Botswana have demonstrated that when there is a committed leadership at the very top, corruption can be fought and can be fought successfully. Countries such as Mauritius have demonstrated that corruption can be fought. Countries such as Rwanda have demonstrated that corruption can be fought. And what they have demonstrated is that corruption is so serious a business that it cannot be left to the political class. They have demonstrated that corruption is so serious and ill that it cannot be the fight against corruption cannot be conducted on the basis of equivocal and vague political pronouncements or technicalities of procedure. They have demonstrated that sometimes there must be a deliberate conspiracy of institutions in order to fight corruption. They have demonstrated that the executive must positively and creatively conspire with the legislature, and that the legislature must conspire with the judiciary not to undermine those institutions but to strengthen those institutions. And I hold the view that it can be done. And it must be done, because if it is not done, many African countries will never realize their potential. It has also been demonstrated by those countries that in order to fight corruption, there must be collaboration of a continental nature. And it is not lost on me that the African Union has brought to pass the African Convention for Combating and Preventing Corruption, which is a continental instrument that allows African countries to participate in the fight against corruption through collaboration. And it can be done through regional efforts. In the ECOWAS region, the ECOWAS environment provides an opportunity for Nigeria and the countries in this part of the world an opportunity to engage in the fight against corruption in a positive manner. It has never been lost on me that the day Nigeria rises, that is the day Africa rises. You may not know, but 1 out of every 5 Africans is a Nigerian. And the reason, in my view, why Africa continues to totter in the manner that it does is because Nigeria has never realized our potential. The day Nigeria realizes our potential, that is the day that Africa will rise. So we are here today also to remind Nigeria that it must play her real leadership role, not only in this region but in Africa, by demonstrating by what and did that Nigeria will be in the forefront in the fight against corruption. And it's not only at the continental level that Nigeria must demonstrate this. Nigeria must also demonstrate our leadership position in the world. The United Nations Convention Against Corruption provides several opportunities which can be exploited by members states, including Nigeria, to ensure that funds that have been ill-gotten are repatriated, and the men and women who engage in such unconscionable and harmful behavior are punished in accordance with the law, that the world may know that if you reap where you have not sown, there are consequences to it. It is also important to create an environment that is hostile for people to participate in corruption. There was a time when I believed that procurement laws in and of themselves were a magic wand, which upon being waved would eliminate corruption in the civil service. But over the years, I've come to realize that procurement laws only allows people to steal in accordance with the law, and that therefore do not be under the impression that laws in and of themselves will solve the problem. As a young boy, I read the great Nigerian writer Chinua Achebe, who said that since men have learned to shoot without missing, a naked bird has learned to fly without perching. So we who are here must remember that when we are enacting laws regarding procurement, sometimes we do so in a manner that provides an opportunity for bureaucrats to steal in a manner that lends a veneer of legality to their illegal activities. The quality of laws that we enact are therefore very important. We must also, as a country, look at the lifestyle of the individuals who engage in public office. How is it that in Africa, when an individual whom we knew to be a pauper is appointed as a public official, whom we knew to be a pauper is elected, permit me and forgive me at once, members of Senate and members of the House of Representatives, that no sooner have you set foot in the Senate or the House of Representatives than you become a millionaire and you begin to live as if money was not a problem. If it was so easy, why aren't all of us so rich? The privatization of public wealth without consequence is something that we must frown upon. And that is why lifestyle audits are important, and I urge you to enact legislation that will require Nigerians that before you build a house as a public servant, you must show us the source of your funds. You must tell us where you got the money. And if you did that, you'd be amazed that those who build mansions will be reduced by 99%. And corruption is something that also undermines democracy. That is the tragedy of corruption. And it has now been demonstrated that in the countries where corruption has been fought successfully, democracy also thrives. I've already indicated to you countries such as Mauritius and Botswana, which are the only two countries in Africa ever to have had budget surpluses, because the leaders in those countries have been in the forefront in the fight against corruption. The other thing that we must do is to create public awareness. And public awareness is not merely to tell the people that corruption is a wrong thing. People know. When people go to church on Saturdays and Sundays, they are told that corruption is a bad thing. When they go to the mosques on Friday, they are told that corruption is a bad thing. What we must do is to ensure that there is behavior change. And throughout history, it has been demonstrated that men only change their behavior when there is a threat of pain, the pain of deprivation or the pain of imprisonment. We must therefore ensure that those who engage in corruption are punished, and punished in accordance with the law. I was also asked to organize jointly with you, as I now do, what are the challenges that stand in our way in the fight against corruption? In a multi-ethnic, multinational country such as Nigeria, as indeed are many African countries, the fight against corruption is even more difficult. A friend of mine, in an attempt to rationalize corruption, once said, "How is it that fish can swim in the ocean without water getting into its mouth?" And I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "When you work in the public service, how is it that you cannot take a little out of the public service?" And I told him, "You are not a fish, and if you are a fish, close your mouth when you are swimming." And he also told me, "How can you be tethered around a tree and you do not graze on the grass that is around there?" I said, "You are not a cow, and even if you are, remember that the grass does not belong to you. There is no shortage of attempts at rationalizing corruption in Africa, and there is no way in which we are going to fight corruption without changing people's behavior. My prescription is that we must realize that those who engage in corruption belong to a different cadre of people, and that they must never be owned. The culture in many African countries that if a thief is from your tribe, you say, yes, we know he's a thief, but he's our thief, must stop. This ownership of thieves, because they come from our ethnic groups, or they come from our social class, or they come from our religious circle, is one of the things that undermines the fight against corruption in many parts of Africa. We must therefore create an environment where those who engage in graft do not have places of refuge in their ethnic groups. We must not create an environment where when we punish people because they have engaged in graft, we then give them protection because they come from our tribes. It is a problem that is going to persist in a country such as Nigeria, but is only through the legislature, which comprises people from all parts of Nigeria, that we can ensure that these thieves are not given the oxygen to breathe so that they can suffocate through their iniquities. Ladies and gentlemen, the fight against corruption is one which one can talk about for a long time. But when one is speaking in the presence of the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, one ought to measure one's words. One only ought to say the things that ought to be said. And therefore, as I draw to the conclusion of my presentation, there are a number of things that I think are critical in the fight against corruption in the manner that it has been demonstrated in different parts of the world. The first thing that we must do is that we must strengthen institutions. Institutions are at the very heart of the sustained fight against corruption. Your President, His Excellency Muhammadu Buhari, is on the right path. He has given us a clarion call. He is now recognized the world over as one of the chief fighters against corruption. But I can tell you that no matter how well intentioned he is not going to succeed unless you support him as the legislators. He is not going to succeed unless the institutions are strengthened. And in any event, the maximum he can stay in office is 2 terms. And let me tell you one thing about those who engage in graft. They have the patience that is amazing. If they can sleep quietly for 8 years only to emerge as greater monsters in the 9th year. And therefore, what we must do is to create institutions that defy time. Those institutions must be institutions that are recognized by the law. If it is the institution of parliament, it must stay strong. If it is the institution of the judiciary, it must be purged of the men and women who engage in graft. If it is the institution of the executive, it must be strengthened. If it is the EFCC, it must be strengthened. If it is the civil society, it must be strengthened. It is only institutions that defy time that will ensure that we succeed in the fight against corruption. The second thing that we must do is that we must have a raft of laws which ensure that those who want to do things that are detrimental to the society are punished, and punished swiftly in accordance with the law, and they are not allowed to be unleashed to the unsuspecting public. And I am happy to note that our representatives from Europe are here. For a long time, Africans who stole from Africa had safe havens in Europe. It is my joy that even Europe now is beginning to close the doors. Under the World Bank, we have mutual legal assistance if we can ensure that those avenues are closed so that they cannot keep their money away. What amazes me is that these individuals kept their ill-gotten wealth in numbered accounts. Not their wives, not their husbands knew, so that when they died, This money was enjoyed by other civilizations. We must now ensure that those who serve in the public service do not hold accounts outside of this country. If they love this country so much that they serve her, why is it that they do not have faith in having their money in this part of the world? These are things that can only be done if we have sound laws. The third thing is that we must look at our education system. What are we teaching in the 143 universities in Nigeria? What are we teaching in our high schools? Are we teaching our young men and women that you can be celebrated simply because you have acquired wealth without a source being given? We must interrogate our curriculum, and we must involve everybody, religious leaders, traditional leaders, because how can it be that amongst the various peoples of Nigeria, you would not allow your daughter or your son to marry a thief who has stolen a goat, but a thief who has stolen naira is celebrated? We must give the goat and the naira equal value, because he's a thief, is a thief. And that thing is the ability and the opportunity to privatize public wealth. The day we introduce hygiene in our politics, the day we deal with the financing of our politics, that is the day that we will begin to sanitize our country, and that is the day that Nigeria will begin to be a great country. I look forward to the day, therefore, that corruption will be an exception rather than the rule. I look forward to the day, therefore, when the laws that we are enacting will be laws that will be observed. I look forward to the day, therefore, when we will have created an environment where we can prevent corruption. I look forward to the day, therefore, when national honors in Nigeria will be given to men and women who deserve it, not those who have bought them. I look forward to the day, therefore, when our young men and women in institutions of higher learning will have as their natural instinct the instinct to do good. I look forward to the day, therefore, when the EFCC may be abolished because there are no more corrupt Nigerians.
Thank you for staying connected, my great and wonderful viewers. You can hear what PLO Lumumba said in this video. You know, this man is well known in African countries. He's well known for saying the truth, and he's making sure that African countries do the right thing. He's making sure that the politicians in different countries in Africa, they do the right thing regarding their respective country. Now, he said something and he laid emphasis on Nigeria. He said Nigeria is the giant of Africa. Nobody is disputing that fact. Nigeria is having the highest population in Africa, and according to what Lumumba says, all African countries are in corruption, but all of them are still looking up to Nigeria as far as the corruption thing is concerned. That shows that Nigeria is playing the forefront. That was what the man said. This is not my personal opinion. This is actually what me and you know anyway, but the man made it not in this place. He said all African countries that are corrupt, they are still looking up to Nigeria because Nigeria is having the cheap corruption. Corruption is working with walking stick in the street of Nigeria with correct face cap, and nothing is being done. EFCC is not doing anything, and it's very obvious that the way EFCC is actually treating Nigerian youth is different from the way EFCC is treating Nigerian politicians. If you look at it very well, the man made mention of the fact that EFCC is not even doing their job. That was what the man said towards the ending of this video. If you did not hear, you can date back to the video again, go back to the video and check what he said regarding EFCC. He said EFCC, they are not actually doing their work very well. Yes, they put more energy on Nigerian youth that are doing internet fraud and all of that. It is very good that the EFCC come for them and discipline them. It is very good that they face the wrath of the law. Likewise, the same energy that EFCC is using for the Nigerian youth, they should be using it for Nigerian politicians. Now, Beta Edu stole over 40 billion naira. No Nigerian youth caught on fraud that have actually accumulated such amount of money aside Hush Puppy, and it wasn't even EFCC that arrested Hush Puppy, it was FBI then. So the scammers that EFCC have actually been arresting and all of that, they have not earned up to 40 billion. But Nigerian politicians, just one politician politician can steal 50 billion in Nigeria. That's what is playing out, and EFCC will not give them butt to hold. They will even snap them and put them in their portal. But it is Nigeria youth. They will snap the boy, they will snap the girl, they will give them butt to hold, they will write their crime in the boy, their name, they will tarnish their image forever and all of that, and they will put it in their portal. A lot of Nigerian youth pictures is in EFCC portal, and even those ones that did not even commit crime. Example, when EFCC went to AAU, they went to arrest over 60 students and all of that, and they posted all their pictures on their portal. They gave them butt to hold and all of that. They put them on their portal. Those ones that did not commit crime and those ones that actually committed the crime. And it was later when there were much pressure on EFCC, it was later EFCC said they started their investigation, and they noticed that among all those 60 plus students, it was only 3 that were doing internet fraud, but they have already tarnished the image of the remaining 50-something students which did not commit the crime. But I didn't mean that it's Nigeria politicians. Once they catch them stealing Nigeria money, public money, e.g. they will not give them butt to hold, to snap them and disgrace and tarnish their image. They won't do it. The way they are treating the politicians, they are treating them as if they are more better than other citizens of the country, and the law states that everybody is equal under the law. That is the civic law. That is what is playing now. That was what the constitution states. But the way EFCC and Nigerian police are treating all those people in higher position and those people that are rich is different from the way they treat the common man. They treat the common man as if they are trash. Their energy and their morale is very, very high when it comes to implementing judgment on the common man. But when it comes to all those politicians that are stealing Nigerian money, that are making the economy to be going down drastically, and that are making life difficult for all Nigerians, they won't treat them the same way. They will pamper them, and when they want to say that they steal, they sugarcoat it. They will use the English that is not even existing to just bring this out for themselves. So that is what is actually playing out. This man spoke about the corruption level in Nigeria. Nigeria is fond of corruption. So even during the time of Buhari to Tinubu time now, corruption is working massively among the cabinet in the Aso Rock chamber. They will borrow money. The loan of Nigeria, the debt of Nigeria has now risen to around 94 trillion naira. Who will pay this money? And these people will never borrow the money to just use to produce something. They borrow the money for consumption. So how are they going to pay the money? That's a question that is out there. And they keep borrowing and they keep mafiaing and buying SUV and yachts for themselves. How many of you have actually seen Tinubu in the yacht that they buy? And how many of you have actually seen the yacht? That is a question. The yacht that they claim that they use 5 billion naira to buy. How many of you have actually seen it? That is a question we keep asking ourselves. A lot of mismanagement of funds going on in Nigeria and a lot of embezzlement. These people are mafiaing Nigeria money without even looking back. That is what LUMUMBA is saying in this place. He said until corruption comes to an end in Nigeria, that is when Nigeria will actually attain the height that they are aspiring to attain. That is when the new Nigeria will showcase. But the corruption is still there, and these people are still there in the Aso Rock chamber, mafiaing money. Imagine better you do that have not even spent up to 7 months in office, mafiaing up to 40 billion into a private account and all of that. And a lot of people are still involved in this thing, and there are a lot of corruption going on that have not even showcased. They have not catched them. So this thing is going on underground. They are saying that political appointment as a way and means to which they can mafia Nigeria money, that they can steal public funds. That is what is happening. It is until the EFCC are plain and transparent. It is until the EFCC are independent, because I'm pretty sure that they are not independent. They look high before they challenge the politicians and all of that. And that is what LUMUMBA said in this place. So Nigeria need to stop all this corruption rascality before everything can be well with this country. And if Nigeria gets it right, a lot of African countries will actually get it right. So drop your opinion in the comment section of this video. What do you really think regarding what PLO LUMUMBA said in this very video? Drop your opinion as I'm gonna get another thing there for you, and share, follow me on my social media handles on Facebook at LAJUPOG WATCH TV and LAJUPOG Entertainment, on Instagram at LAJUPOG. Guess what, guys? See you in my next video. Bye.
I see the hot for my body, I say make I yarn you. Religious gossip plenty day for body. Pastor where the line on top be pastor. For LAJUPOG WATCH TV. Pastor where the back where politician where they do pass himself. World leader, all the while you waiting for church. All as LAJUPOG WATCH TV.